Welcome to Teaching Articulations with Tech, Lesson 4, Applying What We've Learned. I'm Brian Thompson. There are 7 types of articulations, plus their variations. Articulations are the subtle changes we make to the beginning, middle, and ends of notes. Let's see how they apply as we play. If we use the correct syllables to start the notes, we can make that subtle difference between a slur and legato, or tenuto, or accented, or marcato. So they sound a little different and sound musical. Note lengths make it so you can end together. If you know how long to play each note, then it's a lot easier to play together as a group and play with style. The last part shows us all the different variations we can have to articulation depending on how we start the note, end the note, and play the middle. Let's see how to apply these articulations to some real music. We're going to learn the song Corcoran Cadets by John Philip Sousa, written in 1890. Today, to start, all of us are going to play the bass line. So we can see the bass line here. If we look at the first 4 measures of each line, we can see we just quarter notes. There are no accents, but we're playing march style, so they're going to be really short. In fact, you'd probably write a staccato over them to note that they're actually going to be really short, shorter than what's written. The next 4 measures, we see accents and slurs. Accents, we definitely want to use the right articulation, probably a da, maybe a ta, depending on what instrument you're playing and how you want to accent it. We also have slurs that need to be nice and smooth. And the last thing we should look at are the last 2 measures of each line. When the melody is not doing something in a march, usually the bass is doing something interesting. And right here is a perfect example. The bass does something interesting these last 2 measures of each line. Bring those out a little more than the other lines to make it musical. Let's go ahead and let's watch a video of Corcoran Cadets, just the bass line, and listen to the 3 different types of articulations and how to play it. You can also play along with the recording, or you can find recordings with a count off on severeband.com, or your teacher can share them with you. Corcoran Cadets, 1, 2, 1. We're going to add the accompaniment part next. Let's look at the accompaniment next to the bass part. We can see here how the rhythms are almost exactly the same, except for the accompaniment is on the end of the beat. This accompaniment part is originally the French horn part. Sometimes on a march, it would be the 3rd trumpet or a trombone part. But as you play it, the articulation, I want you to make sure that you leave space between the bass part and the accompaniment part. There's a little break in between each note. That will help it give march style with that separation. You can also see at the end of each line how the bass and the accompaniment are together. They're also together with the melody and the harmony. The only measure that the French horn should really bring out a lot of would be that last measure, the first line. Something new is happening there, something different instead of a whole note. So bring that out. Let's listen to it and listen to what the bass and the accompaniment part should sound like. Corcoran Cadets, 1, 2, 1. The last 2 parts we're going to learn to play are the melody and the harmony. Let's take a look at them. The thing we're going to notice first is that the rhythms, the accents, all kind of line up with that bass and harmony part. They're pretty close, aren't they? We can see those accents, how they're all together, all 4 of them. When we're playing a melody, we should think about phrasing. What note should be louder? What note should be softer? We're not going to play all the notes the same. I like to use a phrase, playing the hills and the valleys. So let's look at the hills. The 2nd note is the highest note of the phrase. So that's where you should play the loudest. And then you go down a little bit. So you get softer. So you should get softer down all the way to that fourth full measure. Then we have an accent, but everyone's accenting together. So it'll be louder all together. And then you back off the end of the phrase. Then we go to the second line, you go higher again. So you're going to play louder, and then you get back a little softer. We're only talking a little louder and a little softer to phrase it, to make it musical. Let's hear what it sounds like when we put all of these parts together, the higher and the lower notes, and let's make some music. Corcoran Cadets, 1, 2, 1. I hope you guys practice these things along with the recordings or as a small group or as a large group so that you can make them more musical and use articulations as one of the tools to make you play better. Next time, we're going to learn about shaping notes, the middle to the end of the notes, so we can play more musically. I hope you guys learn these things and have fun playing them. Thank you. See you next time.